Hello, welcome to the video on how to 10x your social skills. Now, I used to be someone who was so shy of talking to other people, I basically would never do it. And if I had to, it would be very short and I would say what I had to do and go back to being quiet. And I didn't like being like that. It's just all I knew and it's how I felt safe. For me to be me wanting to be more fun, playful, and the person I wanted to be who was a bit more confident, I just didn't know how to do that. And I was also a bit scared too. But over the transformation I went through, which took about 2 years of me really practicing my social skills, I was able to lower my fear of judgment, my anxiety, to be able to be this person who is very much more social, and I'm able to have conversations with basically anybody, meet anybody anywhere, have like a good thing going, and that other person sees me and is like, oh, this is a very charismatic, confident young man. He knows how to communicate himself. And so this video is going to help you go from that place where I used to be or where you are right now into that place where you are a more socially loose, confident, charismatic person. And you can do things like be more fun and playful in your combos. You know how to lead conversations, talking with other people. You don't know how you don't run out of things to say. There's always something you can talk about. And you know how to start conversation. So let's get into that now. So if we wanted to 10x our social skills, we need to understand what's kind of holding us back. And the big thing from holding us back is two, and that is first your FOJ, and then second is your knowledge. So these two things are going to hold you back in everything in life. Your FOJ is a bit more general, and this is your fear of judgment. And judgment from what? Well, judgment from expressing yourself. And so if I do this, how are other people going to see me, perceive me? And if I don't like that, if I think it's too bad, well, my fear of judgment is going to stop me from expressing myself. And then secondly is knowledge. So knowledge is like, what is the correct way of expressing myself? Because obviously there's a bad way and there's probably a better way. Now, which way is that better way? Now, you may say everyone is perfect in their own way, but that's not true. If someone whose social skills were like this, did not know how to communicate, which is like, you would not have a fun time talking to that person because you don't even relate to that person. There's no words coming out. There's no exchanges of anything. There's like, I'm not communicating to you. And so a good communicator has the knowledge of how to relate themselves to other people. And so we're going to go over both of these in this video. That's going to help in everything, okay? And so your fear of judgment is what we call confidence, or what we call, an anxiety. And so if I'm too scared to go up and start a conversation, which a lot of people are, well, there's a good reason for that too. If we take this back to maybe in the beginning of your life, or even back to tribal times and caveman and hunters and stuff, if I go up to the wrong person, there's a whole bunch of people, and I go up to someone and it goes bad, they give a bad reaction, well, everyone else is going to see, and if they see, they're probably going to, for me, put me down and treat me worse. And I don't want this to happen, and all this is happening subconsciously, that you don't go up to that person out of fear of what could happen. Now, this is what happened hundreds of thousands of years ago when we were fucking, in the savannah living in caves, but that's not how it is today. And even back then, if your fear of judgment was lower, your confidence was high, this also wouldn't matter. Maybe something bad would happen and you wouldn't care about what the other people thought because it didn't fucking matter to you. You still just went on about your life. But in today's world, like, you're not going to see those same people again. Back in those tribal times, like, you're with those people every single day. It's who you live with. And if you get kicked out of that tribe, well, you're on your own and you probably may die to predators or the wilderness. Second thing is, in nowadays, like, you're not going to see the same person twice, basically ever, right? And so this is going to feel harder when there's a whole bunch of other people around, when it's at places that you frequent and there's other places there. So maybe the gym, maybe work, maybe like a thing that you go to, maybe an event that you go to frequently, like a place, a church, whatever. These places where people frequent, where you frequently see the same people over and over again, that is where that perception may be a bit higher, but it's also where you're going to feel more comfortable with those people. Versus just every day out on the street, you're never going to see those people again, right? And so your fear of judgment, anxiety to talking to those people shouldn't be that high. Also, if you do get rejected, well, that's going to, inside of you, unlock or reinforce some inner mindsets. So we need to have this in the back of our head too, and we'll get to here. What are our mindsets? Now, when it comes to the knowledge part, like, what is attractive? What do people want to talk about? What is good talking? And some things that happen in here are storytelling, humor, subcommunications, interest versus personal input, and this is things that you can use in your conversations to make them better. If I'm just talking to someone and I'm just asking questions after question, it's very boring. So where are you from? Oh, I'm from Canada. Oh, where'd you move there? When did you move there? Like, no, wait. And how was that? It was fun. Did you move by yourself? Yeah, just by myself. It just sounds like there's no emotion there. I'm just answering questions. I'm giving. That other person is asking questions. I'm gonna get bored, right? But if you never ask questions and you only talk about yourself, then I'm also going to be like, I don't want to talk to you, right? So it's having a mix of both. It's having a mix of, I'm putting myself out there, I'm telling you more about me, and I'm also interested about you. And I can also tell myself about me, and I can build a relationship together, our connection that we may have together, by using things like storytelling and humor. And then this is how we connect a bit deeper. So, live example, at the gym yesterday, someone that I met the other day came up to me and was like, "Oh, yeah, what's up, man?" I was like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" We talked a little bit about what was going on, what we're working out, and then I just wanted to transition the subject to something a bit more deeper. I asked him if he had any family members. You have any brothers at all? And he's like, "Yeah, I have an older brother." I'm like, "Oh, you go any vacations anytime soon? Do you guys do anything?" Like, he doesn't come to this gym at all. He just does his own thing, right? And now I'm talking more about family. Family is a more deeper type of subject. Someone asks you, how's your mom? How's your brother? How's your family? That's a more deeper type of subject versus talking about what gym kind of routine we're doing for that day, right? One's more family ridden, it's more personal, one's more surface level. So if I'm seeing the same person over and over again, I could keep it surface level, but I'm missing the deeper part, right? Especially if I want to make a deeper connection. And then probably the biggest one is your subcommunications. Now, humor will go into this later, but your subcommunications are probably the biggest because this is this is everything that your communication is going to be coming across. And so this is the eye contact. This is the body language, the body posture and stuff. This is the facial expressions. And it's the tonality. So all these things, your eye contact, body language, facial expressions, and tonality are basically how people are going to view how you're communicating and how they're going to see you. I can be giving the same message up here, but if I'm going like this and I give it like this, or I give it like this, same words coming out, but because the way I'm saying it, the way that all these things are working together, that gives the vibe, the energy of how I'm communicating it, right? And so confident people are able to communicate themselves in less words and more with their expressions. What's on my mind? Just through my eye contact, just through my body language, just through some facial expressions, just through my tonality. So if someone says something that is kind of like funny or I don't believe it, I can maybe just, instead of saying, I don't believe that, that's impossible to believe, I can just maybe, I can say the same thing with a smirk. Right there, there's a combination of tonality, facial expressions, and eye contact, and body language too, right? I don't know. If someone says something that can be misinterpreted, I can say that. That's what she said. Or I can go, with my eyes, and I can view the message like that. If someone says something or he makes a tease about me, I can just go, oh my God, as in you got me, as in that's a good tease, right? And so I communicate the same message just with less words. That's a really good thing to do. That's what attractive people do. That's what confident people do because they don't need to speak all the time. And then other things that are going to be way funny to include is things like humor. And so humor has a lot of different ways, and this comes down to your personality and a whole bunch of things, but Analogies, dude, that shit was like, I had to go to bed, I had to hit the hay. Just saying something, just saying a funny line like that, hit the hay instead of going to bed, adds a bit more engagement into it. Exaggerating things, taking it over the top, right? Just going over the top with it. Callbacks. So if you're talking about something and you can make a callback, remember that thing that happened maybe in a previous conversation. Misinterpretations. These ones are the best. So I was talking to someone when I live in Canada, and he's like, "Yeah, I had to go to London for school," and I just misinterpreted. Oh, London, England. Now I didn't mean that on. I didn't do that on purpose to be like try to get a laugh. I genuinely actually thought he meant fucking England. But I said, "Oh, England." He's like, "No, what the hell are you talking about?" Right? And just something like that, just funny to throw in there, and then you can go back onto your conversation. Just stuff like that, right? And then storytelling is a bit more advanced, but still, it's like when you're telling a story, that is how people have communicated for basically their entire lives, the experiences that they've gone through. So if you want to tell an experience you've gone through, that's fun. Don't just say it. Tell the story. I was born in the U.S. I was born in the U.S. I moved to Canada. Like that's what happened. But what's a story about that, right? So when I was living in New York, we were living at this kind of apartment complex with two other people in Ohio, actually. So I was born in New York, moved to Ohio. And I remember one day that I was living there, my mom had chained up her bike and she just needed to go upstairs to get something, her purse. But she came downstairs like not even a minute later, and someone had walked by with bike cutters, cut the bike chain off, taken the bike, and ran with it. And so, like, we know we needed to get out of there quickly, so we moved to Canada, and that was a long process itself. Like, I can make a story in there, and I can add more detail depending on how much time I have in, who I'm talking to, and if they're okay for this longer story, right? But all these ways are ways of adding more value, adding more fun, more playfulness, more of you into the conversation. And that's all in the knowledge part, right? And to be able to do this stuff, what you're going to do is need to express yourself more. So you need to express more. But to be able to do this, what's going to happen is that your FOJ is going to go high. Now let's talk about some mindsets. Your mindsets come from the past experiences you've gone through. And if the past experiences you've gone through kind of led you to thinking, oh, me expressing myself leads to negative energy, pain, judgment. It doesn't align with my identity or my ego. I don't believe myself to be this fun, confident person who's able to, maybe give some shit back to someone, who's able to actually stand up for themselves. And so if this expressing more goes against your mindset, well, you're going to have a little bit of a problem, a little bit of a resistance there too. The correct mindsets that we actually want is everyone is my friend, or at least treat everyone like an old friend, like your old best friend. That is how and that's how you should assume everyone right off the bat to be. Your oldest friend that you can just share anything with. What this is going to do is cut down that wall of judgment. And because you're bringing this space, this energy of I'm treating you like my old friend, there's no judgment here. What's going to happen is that other person is going to feel that energy too, and they are going to reciprocate that. And so if I say with my expression, my looseness, hey, I'm not judging you. Hey, here's some embarrassing things about me. That other person is going to be like, okay, I don't have to look cool to be around this guy. This guy, I don't have to try to impress him. I can just relax. Now, this guy seems cool and collected in himself, but he's not trying too much. He's cutting down all this, bullshit facade. He's just being relaxed. I can be relaxed too. And that's coming from this mindset of people are my old friend. They're going to treat you like that back. It's happened so much in my life. Another mindset is we're all human. So even though you may think someone looks better than you, maybe they're higher value than you because they have a better job, they make more money, they have a better profession, literally anything. We are all human and we should all show each other love. And if you go up to someone and you're expecting some negativity, well, that human is not reciprocating good emotion, good energy, but you're the one putting it forward. When you're the one putting it forward, you're putting yourself out there for rejection, which is confidence. When you put yourself out there for rejection, that is confidence. So that other person is going to see it and be like, oh, this person has some fucking confidence to them. Oh my God. Especially if you're coming with the sub-communications. Your voice is nice, it's relaxed, it has some resonance to it, it has some like, okay, I'm here, I'm going to stay here till I, understand what's happening. And so if I'm trying to get someone's attention, excuse me, sir, excuse me, I'm gonna say it until I get their attention. And if they look at me and walk away, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, you're a fucking asshole. I'm like, okay, well, whatever, you have a good day. I'm not gonna let it get down. I'm not gonna let that get me down. I'm still going to continue in a playful way. I'm also not gonna be like, hey, well, you're an asshole. Not like that. It's gonna be like, what the hell? Okay. It's just all playful, right? And that's the highest energy that you could come from, this playful energy. If I'm coming to someone, I'm super serious, I'm super mundane, I'm super constricted and tight and negative, that's not the energies other people want to be part of, right? And so I'm positive, I'm loose, I'm fun, I'm making fun of myself, making fun of others, right? I'm just lowering that bar for what is acceptable to say. So we're all human. You can even say, I love this human loves me. All these things are trying to kind of calm your body down, calm your mind down from these negative thoughts that you may have from talking to someone. And my playfulness wins. I understand that the most fun in a conversation is the most playful. Now, am I trying to be the most playful? No, I just naturally do it when I feel like it's a good time too. And so I will laugh louder. I will chuckle and giggle at things, right? And this is going to make the other people around you feel good too. But don't do it because you just, want to please the other people. Do it because you actually genuinely feel like that, right? I laugh the way I laugh because I genuinely find that funny. I'll laugh as loud as I can. I giggle and I find things funny. If I find them, funny, I want to giggle at them. But I don't ever suppress myself or hold myself back from showing positivity, giving a compliment, from laughing, from expressing myself. I'm not trying to suppress myself. And so these are the mindsets that you want to have to be able to put yourself in a good place where you can have those actions coming out. And then lastly, the way that we're going to lower our fear of judgment or anxiety is or boost our confidence. These are all the same things, basically. These are all the same things, basically, is we need to figure out what are our fear of judgments. And so if you're white and you're watching this video, your fear of judgment may not come to a race thing. Someone like me, maybe another colored person, another immigrant, would maybe see themselves as their race and have a fear of judgment of talking to people because of their race. Maybe they have an accent. Maybe they think it's their looks. Maybe they think that it's their job. And all these things are stopping you from talking to another person because these are the fear of judgments that you have. Now, for me, I had a lot of these. I didn't have the accent. Maybe I had these looks a little bit. Right? I had definitely some of them. And I had some more surface level things. Like, so my looks, like I was like, oh, but my ears are big. Oh, but I'm too skinny to talk to people. Oh, but my teeth are like this. And oh, I can't do that. All the stuff I just thought negative about me, right? But what I had to do and what I had to change was take all this and learn to love myself. So I had to learn to love myself. Because think about it, if you don't love yourself, you're going to hold back from expressing yourself because you don't want other people to see this. You don't want the other people to see what you don't like about yourself. That's the insecurity. Insecurities aren't bad things. They're just signals to us that, hey, there's a weak spot in us. So I had to learn to love my big ears. They make me different. I had to learn to love my teeth. I had to learn to love my skin. I had to learn to love everything about myself. And these are just surface level things. It then got to something deeper when I was actually in a relationship, and I learned that I had to love myself on an even deeper level, and that was like deeper insecurities. Those were things like I did not believe that I did not come from a good family. I didn't want people to see my family. I believed that, the money I made wasn't good enough. I believed I would never be good enough. I would never be good enough. And I had all these mindsets about me, which were way, way deeper, that I still did not learn to love. And so your insecurities you should work on, but you need to love yourself as you work on them, right? And so when I believed I wasn't good enough for other people, I always had to prove myself. Well, that's the state of mind, and that's what I did. I always felt like I needed to prove something to get your love. And if I messed up, that was really, really bad for me, and I would get super shut down and negative. But I just didn't have that self-love for myself, right? If I messed up, I didn't have the self-love of, oh, that was okay, you're just learning, right? And so I had to be my biggest cheerleader for myself, for me to be like, yes, you did that, awesome, good job. Something bad happened, that's totally okay, you're just learning. And I had to reprogram my brain like that to keep helping me, pushing me in the right direction, right? And so I have this deep thing of like, here, I actually tell a story. One of my clients has, and a lot of my clients is like, but isn't it a bit bad if people find out that I'm not the most social? I'm like, no, you find it bad because you don't like it about yourself. But what if that was your kid? What if your kid wasn't the most social? Would you hate on your kid for it? No, you would love your kid no matter what. If your kid had any of these things, would you love your kid any less? No, you love your kid for being alive. That is how you should treat yourself. You love you for being alive. Every failure is a lesson, and every thing that goes good, reinforce it, pump it up. And the way that you're going to lower the fear of judgment, build your confidence, is by coming to terms with this stuff, being okay with that, but then also, even more so, getting the real life result. So your brain, to actually change, because that's what we're needing to do to change this kind of baseline, your brain needs to put things out into the world, and it needs to get things back. So we have our expression and feedback. The feedback can either be positive or negative, and the expression is just what we did, okay? So if we were to now, to other people, express something, but we only got negative energy back, we would tend to lower our expression, our fear of judgment would go up naturally, and throughout our life, we would not do the things to express ourselves the way that we would fully want to, because our brain has received negative, and it makes this feedback, this stimuli response of me expressing myself is negative energy or pain, so don't do that. And if this is the life you've lived because either maybe the parents you lived with were a bit, gave you insults, comparisons, put you down, maybe your friends or teachers, the same thing, you just didn't think the best of yourself, you were a very harsh critic, a negative critic of yourself, well, that's going to make it where you don't feel good expressing yourself, because you don't want people to see these things about you that you don't like about yourself. So yeah, in a way, it's like I have to learn to love my awkwardness. I have to learn to love my social anxiety. If you're at that point right now, right? It makes you you. It makes you different. And again, positive energy. If your brain has gotten positive energy from expressing yourself, then a positive feedback loop is going to happen. You're going to be like, oh, I should do this all the time. I should do this more. This is what people love. And this is the type of brain that we want. Now, this is not the type of brain that people are born with. People are born with this type of brain. And the people around them fill in this question mark. And when they fill in this question mark, this determines what type of expression is happening. And so if you don't feel comfortable around the people you are, you're not going to express yourself. If you're not going to express yourself, let alone be playful, let alone anything like that, right? And if that's just the type of brain that you carry throughout your entire life, to your work, to your everyday, when you're grabbing a coffee and there's someone next to you and you want to say hello, but you don't. All these things because your brain is kind of like already in this negative state or expecting negativity to happen. Not the best, right? It's not even going to allow you to express yourself. And if you have the knowledge, like we talked about before, all the knowledge, all the tools to actually start conversations and be fun in them, well, and you still, your anxiety is still so high that you can't express that, you're not going to, right? And again, the best way to start a conversation, you can give a compliment, but then you want to continue the conversation and you want to ask a question. So when you first start a conversation, it is kind of your job a little bit to carry that. You can't just say hello and expect that other person to carry the conversation. They don't even know who you are yet. So compliment, ask a question, and then give personal input. Okay, very basic. That is an amazing outfit. Where did you get it? I need the same thing. Very basic. Compliment, I love your outfit. Where did you get it? I need to get the same thing. I've been looking for the same thing. I have the same style. Like, this would look amazing. I would want this so bad. Those do three things. Good energy. To give a compliment, you really do need to be a confident person, and have that be good. Ask a question, interest. And then personal input, value, or personality. It's showing to the other person, hey, I can carry my own on this conversation too, and I'm loose. And again, this should be coming with good sub-communications. And this is just the beginning of the conversation. This is like, what, 2 seconds of a conversation? Right? This means nothing. You just need to lower the bar to be able to start that conversation. And then afterwards, that is where you can ask more questions, have your genuine interest be coming out. Like, who are you? Like, what do you do? What do you like to do? Why do you do this? What makes you want to do that? And then also sharing your personal input too. Your personal input too. And this can be cool things that you did. Cool things you've done. Travel, trips with friends. Trips with friends, family. And it can even be smaller things. I went thrifting with my friends the other day. I went this with my friends the other day. Just telling the other person that, hey, I have my own friends. That's pretty cool. I do cool things on my own. Just throwing that into the conversation also shows to the other person, oh, this person has their own life too. And then this is basically what the conversation is going to be. Questions, your personal input, question, your personal input. And then in between those things, you're going to have that fun playfulness of jokes, misinterpretations, callbacks, exaggerations. All those things you can throw in between the stuff, right? And this is where you would call the banter. And there's even more ways that you can do this. Again, you can communicate this with your words, but you can also just communicate this with your sub-communications. Giving looks, doing certain types of things with your body to express what you want to say. Now, this, if you are actually going to implement all of this, your 10x, your social skills will not 10x, it'll 100x. And if you want more help with this, you can go in the description, apply for my one-on-one coaching, or even just book a one-off call with me to see if there's anything that you need help with or implement into your own life. And with that, guys, peace out. Bye. Love you.